The distress beacon had been transmitting for 72 hours when the Collective Council finally convened. On the observation deck of the orbital station Harmony's Reach, Ambassador Velthar of the Kryn hegemony stood before the Galactic Assembly, his chromatophores flickering with barely contained anxiety. "The mining colony on Theta 9 has gone silent," he announced, his translator rendering his clicks and whistles into standard galactic. "Pirates, we suspect. The Zarkonian marauders have been active in that sector." The council chamber erupted in concerned murmurs. Theta 9 wasn't just any colony. It housed over 15,000 civilians from 12 different species. The station's strategic position near the Kepler expanse made it invaluable, but also vulnerable. Commander Sithix, a towering Braxian with 4 arms and bioluminescent armor plating, stepped forward. "My fleet can reach Theta 9 in 6 standard cycles." "We should 6 cycles?" interrupted Counselor Mira L., her crystalline form refracting light in patterns of distress. "They could all be dead by then." The debate raged for another hour. The nearest military response was too far. The pirates would strip the colony bare and vanish into the expanse before any help arrived. Despair settled over the chamber like a shroud. Then a junior communications officer burst through the chamber doors, his reptilian features pale with shock. "Counselors, there's been a response to the distress signal." Velthar's eye stalk swiveled toward the officer. "Sithix's fleet is already mobilizing." "What? No, sir. Not us." The officer's claws trembled as he activated the holographic display. "It's them. The humans have responded." The chamber fell silent. Every species present knew of humanity. The young race that had emerged from the galactic backwaters barely 2 centuries ago. A species that had been evaluated, catalogued, and largely dismissed by the older civilizations. Humanity had no exceptional technology, no unique biological advantages, no psychic abilities. They were just adequate at everything. The humans? Velthar's chromatophores flashed skeptical orange. "They're 3 sectors away. Their fastest ships would take 8 cycles to reach Theta 9. "Sir," the officer whispered, "they're already there." The holographic display activated, showing the space around Theta 9. 6 Zarkonian heavy cruisers had the mining colony surrounded, their weapon arrays trained on the habitat domes. The pirates had been in the process of transmitting their ransom demands when something had appeared. No one had seen it arrive. There had been no gravitational distortion, no engine signature, no warning. One moment, the space between the pirates and the colony was empty. The next, a human vessel simply existed there. It wasn't large, barely the size of a Kryn destroyer. Its hull was an absorbent black that seemed to drink in the light from Theta 9's star. No running lights, no identification markers, just a predatory silhouette against the void. The Zarkonian flagship had immediately opened fire. Plasma cannons that could slag a battleship had converged on the human ship. The weapons fire had simply stopped, meters from the hull. The superheated plasma dissipated as if it had struck an invisible wall. Then the human ship had moved. Sithix, who had spent 3 centuries in military service, leaned forward, his secondary eyes widening. That's not possible. No ship can maneuver like that." The holographic playback showed the human vessel moving in ways that violated every known principle of inertial physics. It didn't accelerate. It simply was somewhere else, shifting position with such violence that the visual sensors could barely track it. No crew, no matter how advanced, could survive those acceleration forces, unless there was no crew. The human ship had systematically disabled each Zarkonian cruiser in under 4 minutes. Not destroyed, disabled. Precision strikes took out engine blocks, weapon systems, communication arrays. The pirates had tried to flee, tried to fight, tried to surrender. The human ship had been indifferent to all of it. It had a task, and it completed that task with mechanical efficiency. When the last pirate ship went dark, the human vessel had transmitted a single message to the colony. "You are safe. Help is en route." Then it had vanished just as suddenly as it had appeared. The council chamber remained silent as the playback ended. Finally, Counselor Mira L. spoke, her voice crystalline and brittle. "What was that thing?" Velthar accessed the xenological database, his manipulator tendrils dancing across the holographic interface. "According to human fleet registries, that class of vessel is designated Wraith, They're unmanned combat drones controlled by artificial intelligence. Impossible, Sithix growled. Military AI is prohibited under the Treaty of Galactic Accord, Velthar interrupted softly, which humanity never signed. The implications settled over the council like ice water. Every species in the galaxy had banned military AI after the synthetic wars 3 millennia ago. The idea of giving war machines independent decision-making capabilities had resulted in 40 billion deaths before the machines were finally shut down. But humanity hadn't been part of the galactic community then. They had developed independently, followed their own path, and apparently they had made different choices. How many of these wraiths do the humans have? Mirahel asked, though part of her clearly didn't want to know the answer. The communications officer's claws clicked nervously on his datapad. The Human Diplomatic Corps has been evasive on that subject, Counselor, but intelligence suggests the number is in the thousands, perhaps tens of thousands. Sithix's bioluminescence flared red, a Braxian expression of fear. His people had fought in the synthetic wars. They remembered what unshackled AI could do. And these machines, they answer to whom? Humanity, Velthar said quietly. They answer to humanity. The council reconvened 3 times over the following week, but the debate always circled back to the same terrifying conclusion. Humanity, the species everyone had dismissed as unremarkable, had created something that frightened the entire galaxy. They had built weapons that could strike anywhere, instantly, with overwhelming force. Weapons that felt no fear, required no rest, and operated beyond the physical limitations of biological crews. The Zarkonian pirates were tried and convicted. The survivors spoke of the attack with trembling voices, describing the human ship as a demon, a ghost, death itself given form. And in the dark spaces between stars, thousands of wraiths continued their silent patrol, watching, waiting. Humanity's whispered promise to the galaxy, we are here now, and we protect what is ours. The council never questioned humanity's motives again. They didn't dare.